Washington County, a little bit warmer this morning, kind of nice, a little frosty yesterday morning, but there again it is winter time and Christmas is upon us. I hope everyone who is thinking about that and the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The tie, everybody got the tie? All right. Okay. Washington County Commissioners Court is now in session Tuesday, December 16, 2025 at 9 a.m. And Commissioner Hanneth, would you do the honors, please?
We have Mr. Glenn Holt from Zion Lutheran Church here to do the invocation, and after that we'll do the pledges to our flags. Yes, sir.
Let us pray. God of all goodness, we thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Washington County. Following the example of Jesus, give us wisdom and courage as we seek justice and peace. We always know that your ways are not our ways, your justice is not our justice. You love us in our goodness and our sinfulness. Help us to see in our work as leaders in this court and this community the way to love others as you have loved us. Send us your Spirit to encourage, to uplift, to restore community, that all may live the abundant life of peace you have promised in and through your Son, Jesus. For it is in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge to the United States flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 3, discussion and possible action upon the approval of pending Washington County Expo rental regulations contracts. This morning we have one of those. It's for Quinceanera.
I make a motion to approve the Washington County Expo rental regulation contracts and give the judge permission to sign.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 and item number 5, we're going to table this morning. We're not prepared to move forward with either of those today. It's a little premature, so we will table. I need a motion to table 4 and 5.
I make a motion to table items number 4 and item number 5.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on the approval of awarding hotel occupancy tax grant funding request from organizations seeking funding for the spring of 2026. Commissioner Corn?
So the hotel occupancy tax group board met last week and felt that all the requests that they received were valid, and it's more than what we typically award, but we would like to fund the whole amount for the $45,400.
Yes, Commissioners. This is probably going to be my last meeting on the hotel occupancy tax. Commissioner Corn has been taking over, and all of these were vetted through the eligibility committee as well as the funding committee, and all of them are eligible to be funded. We normally set a budget of $25,000, but what we discussed in budget was that we were going to increase that amount. And so the funding is there to do these. If you're concerned about the funding is there for these projects, and a lot of these projects.
We still have a fund balance.
Yes,
correct?
there's plenty of fund balance, but I will say that in the discussions, Commissioner Corn can probably validate this, but in the discussion, it was a very good discussion about what these projects were funding and what they need.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve awarding hotel occupancy tax grant funding request from the organization seeking funding for the spring of 2026.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on the approval of an engagement letter from Skelton, Slusher, Barnhill, Watkins, Wells, PLLC for legal services regarding groundwater conservation districts, and to authorize the county judge to sign the engagement letter. Commissioner Bullock?
This is just an engagement letter, so if we bring Mr. Stover on just to give the court guidance from legal challenges that groundwater conservation districts have, seeing that this court has been asked to research and study the implications of those. So that's pretty much just hiring a legal expert who has over 50 years of water law experience. Also spoke at the Natural Resource Committee hearing this summer for the legislature. So, does anybody have questions? No? I make a motion to approve the engagement letter from Skelton, Slusher, Barnhill, Watkins, Wells, PLLC for legal services regarding groundwater conservation districts, and to authorize the county judge to sign the engagement letter.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 8, discussion and possible action on the approval of 2026 SGT Texas Outlaws Inc. right-of-way permit application. Mr. Remke?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So this is a trail ride. It's another Saltgrass Trail Ride group. They're a pretty good group. Turn in their application way in advance, have all the things they need in it. Last year, I think, was the first time that they brought one to us. I didn't hear of any problems for us. This one's on the south side of the county. Actually, half of it's in Austin County. So they start on Caney Creek, go down Austin County, have lunch somewhere, come back. One-day ride. It's on the 31st of January.
Okay.
And they meet all the
Meet all the
requirements.
requirements. Okay. I make a motion to approve the 2026 renewal contract for, approval of the 2026 SGT Texas Outlaws Inc. right-of-way permit application.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9, discussion and possible action on the approval of the 2026 renewal contract for participation in the Washington County rotation log for towing services for abandoned, impounded, junked, and disabled vehicles. Sheriff Holloway, would you like to address this one?
Judge, Commissioners,
Morning.
Good morning.
for our
Good
non-consensual
morning.
towing contract, of course, the court's already approved that be moved over into the sheriff's office from the constable's office. We're not recommending any changes to the existing contract. So we're not seeing a need to modify that at this point. They're asking for approval on the contract as written, so it can be executed for our non-consensual tows.
So Sheriff, was there any concern with the tow truck companies to increase the cost of this contract or no?
I think the fees were increased last year.
I believe so. You
Yeah.
had to talk to a constable.
Yeah, I believe the fees were increased last year, and so I have not been contacted regarding an increase in fees for next year's contract.
And so this is just gonna be the same contract that we had last year?
Yes,
You're fine with it? for
fine
now?
with it for now, yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve the 2026 renewal contract for participation in the Washington County rotation log for towing services of abandoned, impounded, junked, or disabled vehicles.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on the approval of a resolution for the county judge to enter into contracts and participation in the Washington County rotation log for towing services for abandoned, impounded, junked, and disabled vehicles with towing companies in Washington County for the safety and protection of individuals forced into non-consent tow situations. Sheriff?
Yes. Again, same contract. We're not asking for any changes to that. I think we're asking for it to be sent out to the companies and executed as written.
Sheriff, I also want to say that I appreciate you taking this back over.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Your office was, the sheriff's office was handling this prior to, and I think Mr. Hawley is ready for this to be back at the sheriff's
Yes.
office.
Back in its rightful place.
So I appreciate you
Sure
doing
thing.
that. I make a motion to approve a resolution for the Washington County Judge to enter into contracts and participation in the Washington County rotation log for towing services for abandoned, impounded, junked, and disabled vehicles with towing companies in Washington County for the safety and protection of individuals forced into non-consent tow situations.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Item number 11, discussion and possible action on the approval to send a 30-day notice of termination for the current office space for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 located at 4260 Sausage Lane, Chapel Hill, Texas, 77426.
Yes,
Ju-
Judge. So if the court is desiring to terminate the lease with Chapel Hill Sausage for JP2, a formal notice will need to be sent out.
Correct.
By the court.
Okay, the present lease on that property is $650 per month, and there was an increase requested to $1,200 per month, correct? And but we'll go to the next one and explain it. Okay?
Okay.
Is there a motion?
So is the constable wanting this, the current constable?
JP.
JP?
Wants to move, yes. We will discuss that on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Okay.
request is by the JP.
Okay. I make a motion to approve to send a 30-day notice of termination for the current office space for Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 located at 4260 Sausage Lane, Chapel Hill, Texas, 77426.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, discussion and possible action of the approval of relocating the Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 office to the Washington County Courthouse Annex located at 105 West Main Street, Brenham, Texas. This, Judge Samora has requested this change and accepted this office space. He wants it, and of course, there's zero payments for lease on this. This is county property, county office.
And I know we, at one point, we had some discussions, but Jim Allison sent a response, correct? Saying that this was okay.
Absolutely. There's no discussion on that.
This is at the request of the current JP.
Excuse me?
This is at the request of the current JP.
Deputy?
The request, he wants to move to,
Current deputy?
JP.
JP.
JP. Yes,
This is what he
the current JP wants to move to that office. Correct.
I make a motion to approve the relocating Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 office to the Washington County Courthouse Annex located at 105 West Main Street, Brenham, Texas, 77833.
I'd like to make a comment, please, before you.
Just a moment. We have a motion and need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, now further discussion.
My concern is Mr. Samora is only interim. He and I are both up for the contested race for Precinct 2, JP. Mr. Samora has been there approximately a month and a half. He has unfortunately no true idea what happens in our office simply because he has not been there. I have spoken at length with the sheriff, and there are multiple concerns about safety being in this office. We would be housed in an office, number one, with money. The people that we deal with on a regular basis are not exactly the best of the best. Some of them are great. Some of them are not so good. And the sheriff can absolutely attest to this because he has been in our office multiple times with these type of people. We also will already have to fight for courtroom space in our current office. We are completely contained. We can have evictions. We can have any type of hearings right there in our office. Comparatively, Precinct 4 has a high rental rate plus utilities. The amount that we currently pay includes everything: rent, utilities, internet, trash, everything. The amount is really not that high, and currently Judge Cohn no longer owns the building. Chapel Hill Sausage and his daughter own the building, and they're not even currently asking for the higher rent that was originally asked for in our budget. They're perfectly fine with staying how we are, because it's not about us, myself or Judge Samora. It's about the people that we serve, and we serve a ton of people in the Chapel Hill specific area, and so many people coming from Houston. If you put us here in this office, in a small office in a corner, people are not going to be able to find us. On a good day, people cannot even find the courthouse, which is directly behind them. There are multiple concerns with moving us into this office, and me mainly, I don't understand how an appointed judge can come in and determine where we are going to be when the election hasn't even happened yet, and we don't even know who's going to be in that office later to have to handle where we are after the election takes place. And multiple people who have come to me, even after the agenda is posted, especially in Precinct 2, they're not happy with being moved because we service them. That's our job, is to service Precinct 2. And by moving us here, there's really no need to have 3 JP offices in the city of Brenham. When you have one all the way out to the west of the county, why wouldn't you have one to the east of the county? It just ultimately does not make sense, especially when you are not planning on moving Precinct 4, and the amount that you pay every year for Precinct 4 is astronomical compared to what you're paying for Precinct 2. Just my opinion.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Could you tell them how much I'll pay for precinct 4 to let the individuals here know? Because you pay for electrical, trash, everything else, and rent. Can you give them that amount?
The base rent is $1,200.
It's
For-
for 20
$1,750 annually
For 2026, we approved the 1,200 for
Right.
2026.
For 26.
What about 2025?
No.
Yes, and
Oh. You're making the assumption, ma'am, that we're not looking to move any others.
Okay.
Okay, that was an assumption that you made, and that's not a true assumption, so I just want you to be aware of that. So. But, and Mr. Samora, one of his requests for a new office space was at least to have a restroom in the office. Presently, it does not have that. And so it was up to him. He is the office holder at the moment. He requested a move to a different office space. We have Precinct 3, JP, in the courthouse. We have, and it only made sense to me to mean Precinct 2 into, which is the annex of the courthouse as well.
Judge, can I make a comment?
Sure.
If you're going to tell these people, you need to tell them the truth, that in August, you have made a request to start looking for a place for the JP office to be moved. Just be honest with everybody here. And I don't care either direction, it doesn't make a difference to me, but be honest to everybody.
Did I say that we didn't do that?
You said Judge Travis was the one who requested to be moved. That is not, the request was made back in August that y'all wanted to move the office, which is fine, great. But you need to be honest with everybody.
I'll be honest, we have been looking for a long time to do this, not just since August, to be honest with you, Judge. That's not a secret at all. We
That is not
researched.
what you said a second ago. You said that the new judge that was appointed.
He requested that to happen. He knew that we had done this, that we'd been looking, so he came and he requested that. Yes, he did request it.
I make a recommendation that the office be moved somewhere in Chapel Hill where it can be for the citizens of Precinct 2.
That is not our agenda item.
So if essentially Judge Samora has requested this, if Judge Samora does not win in the election, do I have the ability to come back and request a different office? If he has that ability at this point, if he does not win in the election, then essentially I should have that ability to come back and request a different office if he has that ability at this point.
The law states that the Commissioners Court must furnish an office space. It doesn't say where it has to be.
Okay? But if he has come simply asking because there's no restroom, the office has worked perfectly for all of these years, even with no restroom in our office. So if he gets to request it for him with no restroom, then if I win, I should be able to come and request a space that I feel works for precinct 2.
That would be something we would have to address at that time. Yes, ma'am.
If all of this takes place, I would just like to request some security on the other end of the annex where my office and HR and the auditor's office is, because currently we don't have any security cameras on our end. And if while they're putting in stuff, it would just be nice if you could add in a couple extra, because she's right, there would be people coming in that may come looking for their office and not find them without coming to us first. It happens all the time. They're always looking for the courthouse.
And Mr. Samora has asked for at least $20,000 worth of upgrades to the office in the annex. We don't have that in our budget. Where is that going to come from, and who's going to pay for that? I mean, a soundproof wall and all of the things that the other JP offices don't have. We don't have that in our budget. Who's going to pay for that?
I haven't heard of any of those requests.
No, I haven't either.
It's a first.
He requested it with IT, and he requested it with Bobby Branham as well. I'm concerned as to the amount that this is going to cost to get us moved over here, and that does not include any safety and security for any of the other offices, and that doesn't really include safety and security for the office we'll be moved into.
This particular office does have a closed, which can be locked door, and a window for the clerk to operate. So
Okay.
there's, it does not have bulletproof glass like the other JP, but I don't know.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discussion and possible action on the approval of awarding the following 2026 annual bid items: contract mowing, culverts, bridge construction, labor, fuel, oil, asphalt, emulsion, road construction materials, tires, contract hauling, and emergency debris and tree limb removal. Mr. Stoltz?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. It is that time of the year where we're going through all of our annual bids. So December 4th, which would have been Thursday before last, we received our bids for all of our annual advertisements, and we've received quite a few. I'll kind of go through a little bit of a high-level summary of each one of these. I don't want to go into too much detail, but we haven't actually seen a tremendous increase, which is great. And actually, some things we've actually seen a pretty substantial decrease. So it actually is nothing like we've had back in 2022 to 2024, those big jumps, which is great to see. So, mowing, we're actually going to see a slight decrease, approximately 2%. The one that we're actually going to be recommending is going to be Rocking W Services. They actually won Grimes County as well. They are less than we had last year, and the lowest bidder that we have this year. They've done right-of-way mowing in the past. They've already done one cut for Grimes County, and they said that everything went very well with them. This will be a new vendor with us, but they have done quite a bit of public work. And from what I can tell from their previous clientele, that they haven't really had any issues. So we love Wayne Poole. They've been fantastic with us, but obviously money is money, and we're working with taxpayer dollars. So we are going to be recommending them. Culverts, we're actually not seeing any change in our prices. We have one bidder, which is Wilson. They've been pretty much our user or our vendor for many, many years. Exact same prices as we saw in 2025. Bridge construction is a $50 upcharge for their labor for going into the structural aspects of the bridge construction. We love doing as much as we can in-house, but a lot of the structural components, we do have our limitations. So that's kind of a bit of a niche for bridge construction from the structural aspect. Fuel, very similar to last year. There's a slight increase of like 0.5% for the unleaded and 2% for the diesel. Now keep in mind, this is just for the transport cost to us. We still pay rack prices across the board, so that's still determined by everything else. This is just the cost to actually bring it to us, which is 0.3 cents per gallon, so approximately for each one of these. All right, let's see here. On our oil, our AC10 is our big one. We use a lot of AC10 for our chip sealing. It's the exact same price as last year, which is great. We saw no increase. We actually saw a pretty tremendous reduction for the SS1. We don't use it quite as much. It's for prime coating for our roadways, as well as a few other applications, but we use probably about 20,000 gallons a year. And what we're looking at is a 23% reduction in that. We went from $2.86 a gallon to $2.21. Pretty big noticeable drop, so we're liking that. That's going to be a few $1,000s in savings. Road construction materials, excuse me, limestone base. We're pretty much just a little bit less than what we were looking at last year. We're a 2% reduction from what we had. We had quite a few bidders. What we do on all these is we award quite a few. Some of these guys can bring us a lot of material. Some of us can bring very little. What our big deal is that whoever the low bidders are, we can see how much they can bring to us, and then we go down the list until we get what we need for the year. We've been running about 60 to 70,000 tons a year for all of our construction, so it's quite a bit. This is obviously our big item, as we talked about in budget, is always base material. So a little bit of a reduction there is always nice. Our grade 3, that's going to be our very common material that we use for our topping rock for chip sealing. It's going to be a slight increase, nothing crazy, 1%, very similar to what we had last year. I think from 48 to 48.50. So that's pretty minimal impact. The big one that I want to note here is the pre-coated grade 4. That's that topping layer that you see on all of our roads. It's the black material. We actually went from $95 a ton to this year our winning bid is $75 a ton. Wow. Yeah, so that's if we're going to go and make sure we go see the material. Everything has come through the pass for the test, but we always want to, for something like this, is quality is important. Yeah. Yes, but if everything goes through as it's supposed to, 21% reduction can come all the way up to approximately $100,000. We have to work through our roads that we're going to be working on next year to determine exactly what that is, but that could be approximately $100,000 in savings. So that could be fantastic for us. So good stuff there. Tires, we saw some things didn't go up at all for some of the tires. Some of them went up quite a bit. So for the fleet, they went up from 0 to 10% depending on which tire we use for the EDS fleet. Trucks and trailers, they went up nothing. Motor grader, they were all no increase with the exception of the radials for the back tires on the motor graders. Those went up approximately 40%. Now we only use the radials instead of the biases just for setting up roadways. It rides a little bit smoother and it makes it a little bit smoother process whenever we're actually setting up a road for paving. So we don't use those across the board, but we do have one of those that went up from, I think it was $845 to $1195. So we're probably going to need a couple of those tires, but still a few $100s. We're going to have to pay additional for that one. EMS, pretty minimal increase, 0 to 10% on some of these. Some of them went up 0. There was one that I think went up 10%. So
why wouldn't you buy those tires this year?
we definitely can. That's a great idea. We can already start going and put an order in. As long as we get them in before January, that's a fantastic idea.
Get it cheaper, buy
Typically,
it
we
this
don't
year.
like to stockpile too many of those because they're massive tires.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's a great idea. We can go ahead and put them in place. Okay, so hauling. This is our, in case we have trucks go down, we have an emergency, we need to get moving. We've only used it one time this past year, but we always like to have it on standby just in case we need it. We went from $6 a loaded mile to $7 a loaded mile for the belly dump. Typically, we like to use the belly dumps because it makes the actual placing the rock material a whole lot easier rather than dumping in one spot, and it takes a long time, and then you have a lot of people backing up where they can't get through. So we try and like to use the belly dump so we can get it smooth and even. But that one, pretty minimal increase, and honestly, with the trucks that we plan on coming in, I hope we don't need it next year, but it's always nice to have as a backup. Trees and emergency services. So this is our specialty trimming, so if it's going to be next to a house or it's going to be next to a fence and we're a little nervous about this thing falling, we want to have specialty equipment. They went up zero. J. Mendoza is what we're recommending for those. It went up no additional cost. And just to put it in perspective, what kind of deal we're working with here, an 18-inch tree is going to cost us $460 for removal. Complete removal from the right-of-way. So we really like our contract with them. They're doing pretty great. The emergency debris removal, which I hope we never have to use, but it's always good to have. This is another, 2020.
2024.
Correct, yeah. Major debris all over the roadways that FEMA gets involved and everything else. We actually saw a pretty tremendous decrease, which is great. Went from $165 a ton for debris removal. This would be disposing of it at a certified landfill to $78.50. So that's a pretty big drop, which is great for us. We are putting an alternate in there because, look, if there is going to be something that's going to be across the board for the whole state, which is always a possibility, you always like to have a backup in there just in case. So we've got that going too. Hope to never use it, but nice to have it just in case. Couple things to note. So for the fuel for the aviation, we didn't receive that bid. We are going to be looking for the next item to go back with a little bit of a reinvigorated push for vendors to be able to get those supplied to us. We also didn't get one for steel products, and we didn't get any nearby pit locations for FlexBase. Everything is going to be a pretty substantial drive for us, so we want to go ahead and request that. I know it's the next item, but it kind of ties into what we're working with here, that we didn't receive some of these bids that could hinder us a little bit. We need to get that fuel in. We need to get our steel products for the bridge construction next year, and we need to get a local pit that we can pull from if we need to. So that's going to be the next one. But otherwise, look, great numbers, honestly, this year. Honestly, some of those years we had seen in the past where we're getting 20%, 30% increases on a lot of our products. This is a little bit more manageable, which is great to see.
So, Sarah, when we make this motion, we're going to make this motion to approve these bids as requested, as presented?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. I make a motion to approve awarding the bids for 2026 annual bid items as presented by the county engineer.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Did that include 13 and 14, sir?
No, just
Okay.
13.
Just want to make sure. Okay, item number 14, discussion and possible action on the approval of authorizing the Engineering Development Services Department to seek bids for the 2026 aviation fuel flexible base, item 247, pit and steel products due December 30th at 11 a.m. Wesley Stokes, County Engineer.
Yes, so these are just those three we just kind of discussed. We're going to be pushing very hard for our steel product vendors to make sure that they get those in. We send out advertisements to all of our previous bidders. Sometimes they get lost in the mail. Sometimes you have a change in staff. It just happens sometimes. So we're going to be pushing very heavily to get those in. Same with the aviation fuel. I've already been working with EMS on that. We've got that planned out for to get that all through for the next year. So we're okay with it. And then last of which is just the FlexBase for pit location pickup, not for hauling, just as a backup in case we need to go pick some up nearby vendors. That's another one that don't know where it got lost in the mail or what, but the current one that we had are going to be all the way in New Braunfels, and we're not driving to New Braunfels to pick up material. So anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at and we're proposing. This would be to be due on December 30th, if approved, and we would be bringing it back to Commissioners Court on January 6th for approval to Commissioners Court.
Make a motion to approve authorizing the County Engineer Development Services Department to seek bids for the 2026 aviation fuel flex base, item number 247, pit steel products due December 30th at 11 a.m.
Second.
Is it going to be doing this in the county clerk's office?
We're proposing in this location here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, discussion and possible action on the approval of a request from Finance Committee to terminate the contract with Cadence Bank of Brenham in accordance with the contract requirement to provide a 6-month notice to Cadence. And I abstain from discussion.
I abstain.
I come to you today with a very heavy heart. This is not easy for me. We have been with Bank of Brenham since May of 2017. They have done everything we could possibly have asked. They have paid us great interest. They have not had any service charges to us. Everything has worked like a charm. Unfortunately, since the last year, with the takeover of Cadence and stuff, we've had some rough spots. Let me reiterate, it is not the fault of anybody local. It is the system that they have. We have had issues with the positive pay, which is the transactions clearing that happen on a daily basis. Yesterday, we got hit with account analysis fees on 37 of our 45 checking accounts, which has to be all fixed. It's just a lot of things that are going on. The online banking has, it's just been a nightmare getting everybody on, even though I've sent them lists of people with account numbers and phone numbers and everything they've asked for. It's just a lot going on in their back office, and they are again going to be switching over to Huntington sometimes next year. So that's going to be yet another conversion for us. So I'm asking on behalf of the Finance Committee, which is Commissioner Hanneth and Shauna Hollis, that we do our due diligence, which requires in our contract that we give a 6-month notice to terminate this contract, and then we will be going out for bids again to someone.
And are y'all already working on that bid package?
Yes, well, yes.
Contingent upon this?
So,
Do you know when y'all would expect to put that up? I just want to make sure.
Early next year.
Okay.
so we need to provide 6 months according to the contract.
Right.
I do want to say that I think that we've done everything that we can to stay. We've
Support our local bank.
Yeah, and
Yes.
to support our local bank. And so I think that at this point in time, it's an opportunity. If the other bank wants to put in a bid, they can bid as well, Huntington. So I think this is an opportunity for us to provide that level of clarity for our banking and our finance committee. So
Yes,
I do think at this time, it's probably the right time to make that decision.
And as I've said, nothing is with the people here in Brenham. I have had nothing but the best of success and loyalty from those folks. They have, above and beyond, they have helped me.
I make a motion to approve the request from the Finance Committee to terminate the contract with Cadence Bank of Brenham in accordance with the contract requirement to approve a 6-month notice to Cadence.
I'll second.
Commissioners, may I make a comment?
Sure.
There should be a specified end date in the letter that will be sent out, so not just 2026. So
Let's see, what did it say?
if we could amend the motion to have a date of 6 months from today, if the letter will in fact be sent out today.
I amend the motion so spoken.
Yeah, the letter is dated today, so.
Yeah. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Abstain.
Sadly accept.
And these two have to abstain.
Okay, item number 16, discussion and possible action on the approval of accounts payable.
Today, we have $621,207.94. That's the monthly aviation bill, which, it happens every month, and another big chunk is stuff for the road and bridge. We gotta have it to keep rolling. The rest is just regular bills.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve accounts payable.
Second.
Motion been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 17.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. One statement before we leave today. Next week's court is on Monday the 22nd, because of the Christmas holidays.
Then we also.
Right, if that's the next.